watching Channel Africa Conversations.
And look at all the things we've done together. So many problems people said were impossible to overcome. And yet we as a Commonwealth family have done it. We created the Innovation Hub. We created the Blue Charter, the Living Lands Charter, the Common Sensing, the connectivity agenda. We've been talking about trade.
Hello and welcome to Channel Africa Conversations. I'm your host, Peter Ndoro. And today we're in conversation with Baroness Patricia Scotland, the outgoing Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Now, with 21 of the 56 Commonwealth member states located in Africa, the organization plays a significant role in the continent's political, economic and social landscape. As the Baroness Scotland's tenure comes to an end, we take this opportunity to reflect on her leadership, her achievements, the challenges that she faced, and what the future holds for the Commonwealth and its African members. Secretary General, thank you very much indeed for joining us on Channel Africa Conversations.
Well, I'm delighted to participate because, this is an important moment in our history. The world is in a very turbulent place, and the wonders of the friendship and the community of the Commonwealth, I think, has probably never been needed more than it's needed now.
Well, let's reflect a little bit as you're starting to count down towards the end of your term. Looking back, what would you say have been your most significant achievements?
Well, I think the thing that I've loved is to see the whole Commonwealth grow. We were 54, then we were 52, then we were 53, now we're 56, which is the largest number we have ever been. And we've had new countries join us. We have 21 countries from Africa, the most recent being Gabon and Togo. But to watch this family grow in every aspect, just look at the things that when we started, I said that we could build a Commonwealth built on all our talents. And we saw the opportunity for us to increase intra-Commonwealth trade. We started at about 564 billion in 2016 when I arrived. Last account in 2022, we were about 854 billion. Now, probably today, we're about 950 billion. And we'll be 1 trillion, we hope, by 2026, 2 trillion by 2030. And look at all the things we've done together. So many problems people said were impossible to overcome. And yet we as a Commonwealth family have done it. We created the Innovation Hub. We created the Blue Charter, the Living Lands Charter, the Common Sensing, the connectivity agenda. We've been talking about trade. And then look at what we've done with geospatial data. And most recently, we know that AI is going to add 15.7 trillion onto the global economy. But we know we have to have a piece of that cake. And so what we've done with creating the AI Academy to enable our young people to take advantage of this digital transformation that's coming. What we've done, 27 countries who've had good officers in the last 9 years. When there were troubles and difficulties, we've stood by each other, and 50 years of doing work with our young people. 60% of our population is under the age of 30. Our young people are more important than anything else. Look what we did during the Year of Youth and the last Samoa, the Ocean Declaration. These are amazing, extraordinary contributions to the global family. And yet we did it, the Commonwealth did it, by coming together in friendship, with real courage to make a difference, to be the difference that we want to see in the world. And, as Madiba used to say, the impossible is only impossible until it's done. And we in the Commonwealth have done so many things which other people said were impossible. But by coming together in partnership, in friendship, in solidarity, we have made the impossible possible. I'm very proud of all of that. I'm very proud of our leaders at times when the world couldn't agree. They agreed. In 2018, they agreed. In 2022, in Kigali, they agreed. In 2024, in Samoa, we agreed on everything. And I think it's at a time when the world is struggling to agree. It is extraordinary that our leaders from 5 different regions, rich ones, poor ones, landlocked, island states, big states, small states, that huge diversity, every religion known to man, every culture, every demographic, we have come together and we have agreed on all the fundamental important things which are important to our world. I think it's amazing.
There certainly must have been some challenges and maybe some missions, jobs, things that you would have liked to have done. What were you not able to get to that was important to you?
The good thing is we got to so many, but climate is something we have been struggling with. And I want to, I'm a very glass half full, not half empty. So I will celebrate what we've done to raise climate to the very top of the agenda. But we haven't done enough, because in COP, we got 300 billion annually till 2035. We got an additional layer up to 1.3 trillion, primarily encompassing private financing. But you and I both know that is a drop in the ocean. Developing countries need about 6 trillion until 2030, and to implement their national climate plans. But look, on adaptation, we need 18 times more financing than the current finance flows. And finance must be available and accessible. I am so determined that we should do more on debt. Debt is drowning many of our countries. They're either drowning from sea level rise or they're drowning in debt. And much of that debt is occasioned because of the climate crisis that our countries have suffered from, which they did not create. So that whole climate agenda is incredibly important. Am I proud that we have done things on climate financing? Am I proud that we created the Commonwealth Climate Finance Access Hub? With just 8.5 million, we have already delivered almost $460 million into the hands of our member states, and we've got another 500 in the pipeline. So I'm proud of that, and I'm proud that we will continue it, but it's just so sad that the world still is arguing about whether we should be doing something more on climate. And that is an existential threat that's facing every single country. And I really hope we continue to do more on debt, because we in the Commonwealth have created a debt management system. We're helping our member states, and in helping our member states, we have now got more than 4 trillion worth of debt under management. And we're helping them to manage both private debt and public debt. But whilst you still have this unfairness that some countries are able to borrow money at exponentially less than others, that unfairness still needs to be tackled. These are big issues. I'm glad that we've done things like the Universal Vulnerability Index, and that we are fighting back and we're trying to move the agenda. And I think we still have to have a global alignment on a fairer distribution when it comes to how we manage debt. And this year is an important year for that reason. You've heard what the Pope has said about it, the grand imams. We can see what the World Bank's doing, IMF. We've all got to do more. So I'm by no means saying it's done, because it's not done. And the Commonwealth has been fighting on climate change since 1989, when we were the first in Langkawi to say that we need to make a difference. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we could, particularly for small states who pay 18 times more in debt repayments than they receive in climate finance, wouldn't it be wonderful looking forward if that was no longer the case? So I know there is so much more to be done, but I think it really is important for us to remind ourselves how much we've done, how much we've achieved, because so many people say it can't be done, it's impossible. And I think we have shown that when we walk together in solidarity, when we listen to each other, we can do it. We just can't do it on our own. It needs all of us, a local government, central government, foundations, business, individuals, communities, all of us working together. And I think what the Commonwealth has shown is if and when we do that, we will succeed. But it will take all of us. And that's what I've learned in the 9 years. If you think about any of the things we've spoken about, every time we said we were going to do something, oh, Secretary General, it's impossible. It can't be done. You cannot do this. Hey, we did it all. So I am so proud of my leaders. They were amazing. And I think the most valuable thing that we have done in the Commonwealth is we listen to each other with respect and we hear each other. And we're always left to say, okay, we disagree, but what are we going to do? Because it's only us. We are the ones in the driving seats. If we do not do it, who is going to do it? It is us. And what I have seen time and time again, when those leaders from the 5 regions of the world sit around the same table and they listen to each other with respect, with empathy, with understanding, and conscious that they are responsible for 2.7 billion people's future, and they make decisions together, they have found they can shift the needle. But you can't just think of you have to think of all of us. So I think it's been a real privilege and a huge pleasure to be even a small part of that process.
So, 21 African countries, different levels of development. A big question then might be, how has the Commonwealth benefited African nations? I think you may have given us some clues, but tell us so that our viewers and listeners can understand.
Well, I think one of the things that it has done is bring the African voice to the forefront. It's created a platform where we can think about how we develop economies. The AI revolution is likely to add 15.7 trillion onto the global economy. The reason we in the Commonwealth have created the AI Academy is we know that if our member states are to take their proper place in that economy, they are going to need help and assistance. So what we've done in creating, for example, the AI Academy, which is working very hard, for example, with Nigeria, is allow our young people to get the training, to get the opportunities that they need to take advantage of that future. If you look at what we're doing in the Living Lands Charter, this is all of the countries coming together to understand how we can put the 3 Rio Conventions into action to help with water, to help with land management, to help with husbandry. You know what has happened in Africa in terms of the areas of flooding, of drought, of landslip. How are we going to respond to make that better? This practical help has been amazing. And then just to think about what we did, the law ministers of the Commonwealth, the 56, met in Zanzibar. And we were looking at all the areas in which we really needed to have the same legal systems, the same implementation models. And we came up with a plethora of different things. I'll just take one. The world was finding it very difficult, if you look at the OECD, Europe, America, everyone, as to what were we going to do on virtual assets. Could we come up with a system? Could we come up with a law? Could we come up with a framework? Everybody was saying, no, you can't. Our 56 countries created the Commonwealth framework model law to deal with virtual assets. That model law is said by the Financial Action Task Force, who are responsible for looking at this. They say we have come up with the global model. Africa was right in the heart of that. That looks to our future. Our future is going to be digital. If you look at the things that we're doing for young people, the Innovation Hub, the Innovation Awards, look at how many African young people have come to the fore and they're shining. Look at the Peace Awards that we have given. And if you think about the difficult times we've had for a number of our countries, and it's been the Commonwealth who's been there holding the hand, helping to bring the peace. So many, I mean, I'll talk about the ones who speak about it themselves. Hakainde Hichilema and President Lungu talk about the importance that the Commonwealth played in helping with peace. That thirst for peace is very much embedded in our Commonwealth and embedded in our 21 African states. And the opportunity for us to help our women, to help our young people, and to help our men deliver what they wish for their countries.
So democracy, human rights, this is one of the things that you've promoted as the Commonwealth, but there were some crises in some of the member states, and I wonder if the organization has enough influence to uphold these values.
Well, we have. I think, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. So if you look at some of the most difficult times that we've had, the thing I'm proud of is we don't run away from difficulties or problems. We face them. In fact, in Africa, one of the leaders said to me, I was we were having a tough conversation, and I said, well, look, your real friends do not tell you what you want to hear. Your real friends tell you what you need to know so that you can make better informed decisions. And I said, I would say this to the government, I'd say this to the opposition. And he said, I remember it well, because when I was in the government, that's what you said as well. And then he said, the Commonwealth is our bad weather friend. And that was the greatest compliment I think I have ever received for the Commonwealth. We're not just there in the good times, we're there in the bad times, and we walk with our countries throughout those times to help make things better. And that's one of the things I'm very proud of. The Secretary Generals before me have performed that role. It's been my privilege to be the bad weather friend. And as I hand it on, I'm sure it'll be the next Secretary General, Shirley Botchway's joy to be the next bad weather friend.
So as you start packing your files and your books, what are you going to miss the most about being Secretary General?
I think probably being there for people when they most need it. That's been a very great privilege to know that the leaders across the Commonwealth have felt able just to pick up the phone. Sometimes at all times of day or night, I have to tell you, but to pick up the phone and to know that they believe that you at the other end of the phone are able and willing to do whatever you can to help to make things better. I think that's one of the things I will remember, and all the great friends that we have made during this time in every sphere, not just our leaders, our ministers, our community leaders, our young people. I think I will never forget. There was a very poignant moment in Samoa. The young people who, I've always been passionate about, gave me an award, the young people of the Commonwealth. And they said, they gave me an award for being their champion, their advocate, and their mentor. And it was a total surprise. And they did a video and they took through the 9 years of me being Secretary General. And they all know that, no one, I'm someone who's always laughing and smiling. I really don't cry. They made me cry because by the time they got to 2020, I was being all stalwart, but there was just tears running down my face because I think what I will remember is that I watched our young people grow up. I watched them change. And the greatest thing, the greatest accolade I think I could ever have been paid is that paid by the young people of the Commonwealth who named me their champion, their advocate, and their mentor. I'll never forget that. Never.
So some people might say that, you know what, the Commonwealth, it's nice, it's symbolic, even though you've mentioned all these things that you've been able to achieve. And they might even say that it's a relic of the past. What future does it have going forward?
I think it has the most amazing future because some people have said to me, if the Commonwealth didn't exist, we would want to create it. The question is, in today's world, which is so fractured, could we? And so it is not a relic, it is a real diamond that we have been given by the people who went before us. And it's our job to burnish it, to value it, and to make sure it continues to shine. The fact that more and more countries are lining up to join us, and this seems to be the only multilateral organization which is still growing. After COVID in particular, I had a number of countries sidling up to me saying, Secretary General, how do you join? And why do they join? Because they see this growth in economy. They look at the things like the Mo Ibrahim index, good governance index, and they say, why is it that the countries in the Commonwealth in Africa, they're all in the top division or nobody's down the bottom. What makes this different? And they are seeing as our economy grows, our young people get opportunities, our women are getting stronger. They want some of that. And what they're seeing is because here is a family joined by values, there is no treaty binding you to do this. This is people coming together willingly saying, how can we make the world better? What can we do practically, pragmatically? This isn't about theory. This is about the practical difference we can make. And most of us are finding that we do not have enough money. We do not have enough wisdom. We do not have enough on our own. But when we pool that power, that ability, it comes together. We could not have created the Commonwealth assessment in terms of sustainable development goals or the work we're doing on climate on our own. We have been interdependent and reliant on each other to pool what little we have. If you think about it, if every one of us only had $1 and we tried to do something with that $1, we wouldn't do anything. We couldn't achieve anything. But with 2.7 billion people, if we take that same $1, now we can do something. Now we have something, but it comes from the power, from the solidarity, and the willingness to work together. Because if you are not willing to work together, you won't achieve anything. And so the beauty, if you like, of the Commonwealth is there is a desire, a willingness to work together. And no one has to tell our leaders, please, could you think about young people? Please, could you think about women? Please, could you think about... No, no, no. This is their agenda. This is what they want. This is their commitment. And they are coming together to say, we, the Commonwealth leaders, are going to do this. So this is what has made us vibrant. And this is what is driving the Commonwealth and will continue to drive it. If it's a relic of the past, I think it is one that everybody wants because it's priceless and it can't be recreated.
So 31 March is the last day. What do you do after that? What are your plans? You still have lots of energy. Are there still other causes and mountains to climb?
Well, I think there are so many, if you think about the things that I've done my whole life, I have been championing young people, innovation, change, digitalization, all of these things. If we look back at the first thing I wrote in terms of a Commonwealth built on all our talents, everything we aspired to, actually, we did. But as we said earlier in this interview, but there's still so much to do. So I can't imagine me ever stopping because there is so much to do. And there's loads of people who are asking me to do a number of things, to which I'm saying that's really interesting. And let's see. But my commitment to climate change, my commitment to fairness, my commitment to justice and peace and mediation, particularly my commitment to peace, I think will be lifelong. It's been there all the time. I'm here now in Abu Dhabi doing the Zayed Peace Prize, looking at how we can bring the people of different races, different religions, different belief systems together and to find beacons of hope. So I believe that the Commonwealth is a beacon of hope. I hope that I will be able to continue to support everything that we're doing, and I'm looking forward. Of course, I'll go back to the House of Lords in April, but this is not the end. I think it's just a beginning. I've been telling everyone the Commonwealth is a bit like Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. So I'm sure that there will be things that we will continue to do. And I wish everyone the very, very best. And I hope that everyone will continue to support the Commonwealth with their head, their hearts, and you never know, their money, because we can do so much together.
Secretary General, it's been a pleasure talking to you today, and thank you for always giving us access to you, and we wish you the very best in the next chapters of your life. Thank you so much.
No, and thank you. Thank you. It's always lovely to speak to you.
And that's how we come to the end of today's edition of Channel Africa Conversations. Thanks very much indeed for tuning in. But before we go, we'd really love to hear from you. So please look at the social media platforms that we're on your screen now, and please send us some messages. We'd like to know what you thought of the program, which conversations you'd like us to have, and with who. And you can start right now on this channel in the comments section. Until the next time, take care.